we're very proud to go to Newsmax. Good evening. Welcome to House Sparks Mega Worldwide. All kidding aside, the amount of ridiculous bullshit floating around in right-wing corners and poser left-wing corners, I guess we'd have to clarify these days. Yeah, that was the end of CPAC, in case you were wondering. It looked like Farley's Matt Foley, right? Like and subscribe. Don't forget to give a thumbs up. Thank you for joining me. All that kind of fun stuff. Oh, Regina, thank you so much. Get some snacks or a coffee on your drive. Thank you. I'm going to need them. I'm flying out at midnight tonight to Michigan to do shows. I'm at the Park Theater tomorrow night in Holland, Michigan. And then I'm in Grand Rapids the rest of the week at 3 different venues. It's very, very strange. Just follow me on Twitter. We'll get there. I don't know why I'm doing 3 different places, but it's fun. Who cares? At this point, I'm just happy to be out. So not being in one club for 4 days is kind of nice. We'll see. Anyways, tomorrow night, Park Theater. That's the important one. All right, here we go. Until Thursday. All right. So John Bolton went on Newsmax, and depending on whether you're Newsmax or not, it went either very well or very poorly. I would like to say right out of the gate, though, that John Bolton is a warmongering fuck, and who cares? But it's particularly hilarious that these folks dragged him on to kind of back up their bullshit narrative about Trump. And boy, they should have vetted the guest a little better, methinks. So yeah, this is oh yeah, and I got to turn the audio on. Is it playing? Play?
A loser is the title of that op-ed. And Ambassador Bolton joins us now. Sir, good to have you on. Thanks for...
Oh, by the way, he wrote that article, Gradual Sanctions is a Loser, because this asshole is the king of strafe bombing. Gradual anything is a loser to him.
My first question for you is this. As a frequent critic of former President Trump, who would you rather have handling this situation with Russia right now, Joe Biden or Donald Trump?
Neither one. Look, Trump had made our relations with Ukraine so bad that I think the Russians may have been in Kiev by now.
He made the relationship with the Ukraine.
Yes. If Trump was still president, they'd be in Kiev right now. That's what he's saying. Like, and again, he's like, fuck Joe Biden. He's a Democrat. I don't like him. But at the very least, they kept him out.
So bad between the United States and Ukraine?
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think that this endless quest for the deep...
And by the way, look how uncomfortable Rob is about to get. Look, that hit me right in the colon. This is supposed to go easier.
C server for the Hunter Biden connection to Ukraine made it almost impossible to have an effective policy to deal with the threat Russia poses to Ukraine. And I didn't see a second term getting any better. And it's no contradiction of that to say I think Biden has handled this crisis abysmally.
And by the way, that's a plus that Bolton thinks Biden is handling it abysmally, because it has not resulted in American soldiers on the ground or us using a tactical nuke inside the country. So that's... enjoy the fact that he hates what Biden is doing, and also enjoy the kind of schadenfreude moment with this bullshit between the two of them.
There is something to be said, though, about the simple fact that there was not aggression during the 4 years. I mean, you were part of that administration as well, and there was not aggression from Russia, and they waited him out, it seems, and made a move. I mean, we have a list of things that the Brookings Institution says the Trump administration implemented 52 policy actions against Russia, was pretty tough on Russia in a lot of ways, forcing NATO members.
Yeah. All stuff Congress made him do, all stuff he waited till the last fucking second to actually do. Yeah, you're
as
getting a
we
lot
know,
of popcorn tonight.
sanctioning Nord Stream 2. Oligarchs close to Putin were sanctioned, selling anti-tank weapons to Ukraine, so arming Ukraine, withdrawing from the INF treaty and expelling Russian officers from this country as well. He looked at...
And by the way, withdrawing from the INF treaty is not a plus. You can gish gallop and bury that shit in there, but that's just
in
ridiculous.
2018, he looked NATO members in the eye, and
oh, by the way, expelled Russian officers. That was one of my favorite stories about Trump and the hold on. Yeah, there it is. I think this is it. Yeah, this is it. Remember this shit, 2018? Trump felt misled, angry over expulsion of 60 Russian diplomats. He just wanted that. He thought France will do 2, and we'll do 2, and Germany will do 2, and then the rest of them can stay. And ours were like, nah, all the fucked up ones got to go. And he was like, what? President Donald Trump erupted in anger when he learned the U.S. was expelling 60 Russian diplomats in March, while France and Germany were only expelling 4 each. The Washington Post reported late Sunday, Trump reportedly only wanted to match the number of the Allies' expulsions and not be seen as taking the lead. You know, America first, strength, letting Putin know who's boss. Don't be seen as taking the lead in responding to Russian aggression. You could get in trouble during your next performance review. Trump believed his aides misled him, the Post said. There were curse words, one official told the Post. A lot of curse words. Just the level of douchebaggery is spectacular. And you want to give him points. It is at the bottom of the list, I will say.
About the reliance on Russian energy by Europe and how horrible that was. I mean, he took a very tough stance against Russia. I'm surprised you don't think that he would have handled this better than Joe Biden.
No, he did not. He did not. We didn't sanction Nord Stream 2. We didn't sanction Nord Stream 2. We should have. We should have brought the project to an end. We did impose sanctions on Russian oligarchs and several others because of their sales of S-400 anti-aircraft systems to other countries. But in almost every case,
by the way, because Congress made them.
Sanctions were imposed with Trump complaining about it, saying we were being too hard. The fact is that he barely knew where Ukraine was. He once asked John Kelly, his second chief of staff, if Finland were a part of Russia. It's just not accurate to say that.
Is Finland part of Russia? Oh, shit. I'm sorry. I'm enjoying asshole on asshole crime a little too much.
Trump's behavior somehow deterred the Russians. I think the evidence is that Russia didn't feel. Let me finish now.
Yeah, okay.
Didn't feel that their military was ready. That despite all of their efforts to reform the
and guess what? It still ain't.
They were worried it wasn't enough. And I must say, from their performance in the first less than a week now, but in the first opening days of this invasion, it doesn't look like the Russian military is thoroughly prepared for this.
Nope.
So I think what Putin may have been waiting for.
Look at just the discomfort. Can you just enjoy that for a moment, everybody? Can you just enjoy Rob shit just going, ugh, ugh, just the gastrointestinal disorder that is going on in this sap suit right fucking now? He just, can't take this conversation anymore. Oh God, I can't. This is, oh God, every time he talks.
To get his act together, to see if the government of Ukraine would adhere to the Minsk agreements of 2014 and 2015, which were very damaging to the government of Ukraine, to see if he could get what...
Right. Yeah, by the way, here's the thing. John Bolton's assessment of situations is not a problem. It's his idea of a solution that's a problem. He wouldn't have gotten as far in his field if he didn't assess things properly. He's just a fucking lunatic about how he thinks he can solve the problem. He can recognize a problem, and that's, by the way, that is one of the ways that you surround yourself with a staff, is that you, hold on one second, let me flare it up. Is you get people who can recognize the problem, and then you get problem solvers, and you don't necessarily have one person doing both.
Without having to use military force.
Who would have been, I mean, you say that...
You said Trump would have been in Kyiv by now, but he was Hunter Biden.
The former administration was not tough enough on Russia at a time when, there wasn't much to respond to at that point. Like,
yeah, what are they supposed to be tough about other than why did they even expel people at that point? Other than the fact that Russia was accused of using chemical weapons in Syria, and we had to do something, and Trump was like, okay, 2 people have to go, somebody unimportant, get them out. There wasn't really much, I mean, that's not much. There wasn't much to do about Russia. I mean, and we had to respond. They used chemical weapons in Russia. What were we supposed to do? We had to broom 2 of their people and give them 3 of our military bases in Syria, which is what ultimately fucking happened.
Now, I want to play a clip. This is you on MSNBC recently.
I think Putin was undoubtedly waiting for a second Trump term, but he's getting effectively almost what he would have expected then. This is going to be a victory for Russia.
I get that you don't want either.
How can you say that the Biden administration is almost as bad as Trump on these kind of things? Because there's got to be something to this that that you can't. Please tell me something that there was got to be no.
Biden or Trump, you say they both are are not handling that bad. I don't understand though.
Anything.
There is credit, I think, due, whether or not you think Trump was the right person on Russia or not, or whether or not he was intelligent enough to handle Russia, whether you agree with that or not.
That was an assertion. All right, go ahead.
There is something to be said for the man that several years ago was telling our European partners that you can't be reliant on the Russian government and on the nation of Russia for its energy. I mean, he talked about that before. Nobody else was talking about that at the time. That prediction came true.
You're absolutely wrong. You're absolutely wrong. The first person to tell the Europeans not to rely on Russian oil and gas was Ronald Reagan.
So fair enough.
But yeah, at least it was a Republican.
Just hang on. Let me respond to that real quick.
Come on.
Let me respond to that. In that moment.
I was in the Reagan administration. Give me some credit, right?
So I remember looking at, I think it was Jen Stoltenberger and the rest of them. I mean, everybody it was just like, oh, here's Trump going after our allies again. He's cozying up with Putin.
You're sounding a lot like Steve Bannon. The phrase you're looking for is armor-piercing shell or tip of the spear. Just throw that in.
After our allies, that prediction was true. And sure, Ronald Reagan 40 years ago.
And it's also
40 years ago, when they built Nord Stream 1.
It's also but it's also true that what Trump did was negative about NATO. As I put in my book, he once said, I don't give a fill in the blank about NATO. And that was destructive.
Well, Rob's having a rough time. I mean, this is moved from his ass to his armpits now. He's gonna have like an airplane sweat moment in a moment.
And I think that the accumulated effect of that was in Putin's mind as well. What Trump did correctly, but certainly not the first president to do it, was say that the European allies should pay their fair share of our common defense obligations. And I think he did have an effect there. But it was something that every prior administration had tried, in this case with more success, because I think some of them particularly in Eastern Europe. Ask the Poles or the Estonians or the Latvians or the Lithuanians if they had any doubt about the danger they were in because of Russia.
Fuck, man. I'm just going to breathe this in for a minute. Yeah. Rob is a fucking mess right now. That is amazing.
You mentioned several other things in that list. Getting out of the INF Treaty. It's true we got out of the INF Treaty, and I was one of those who recommended it. And if we had gotten out of it earlier, it would have made, I think, some considerable difference in Putin's calculations. But this
do you think that Trump was? Do you think that he was soft on Russia?
Look at this. Trump issued more than 50 actions against Russia. And in that it was 60 human beings who were asked to leave the country. So -10 or whatever. Like 50 actions. He issued them. He had to do them.
And if we have a list of obvious things.
Yeah, these are obviously things. Put the list back up again. Please let me cling to the list. This is so unfair. Hold on. Stop fucking with Rob. Put the list back up.
That he made. He obviously wasn't Putin's puppy.
He wasn't his puppy. A puppy would be nice and make me feel better about this, but it's not true, and none of it's true. It's not true. Stop it!
I don't think he understood what he was doing. That's my fundamental point.
True. Trump understood everything. He knew ISIS better than the generals. He knew COVID better than the doctors. He knew light bulbs better than your asshole. He knew.
This is not really a policy argument. This is about Trump's lack of any significant historical knowledge.
Shit. This is okay. It's about to get real. Hold on. Back that up a second. Say that again.
I don't think he understood what he was doing. That's my fundamental point. This is not really a policy argument. This is about Trump's lack of any significant historical knowledge, his lack of strategic thinking, and frankly, his lack of thinking about pretty much anything other than what benefited Donald Trump. Why was he
By the way, Newsmax, you are not helping his case by playing this footage. He looks like he's asking for a hand job.
About Ukraine in the summer of 2019 because he wanted that DNC server. Why was he concerned about corruption in Ukraine? Because he was looking for an excuse to cover the reason he was refusing to send $250 million of security assistance to the Ukraine. And only
look at Rob is just wilted now. Look at this. This is the whole like. He's just. Help me, I'm melting. What a world, what a world.
He did send some assistance, though. I mean, we did sell them arms.
It was mandated by Congress, and
I'm out of popcorn, motherfucker. This is so funny. Oh, God. This is so great. And by the way, to the trolls who are upset by this, Trump hired this guy. And this guy loves Trump and thought it'd be a great idea to bring on someone Trump hired. I didn't arrange this. Fucking hell.
The danger was we were coming up to the end of the fiscal year. He made...
By the way, I've said this a dozen times when we talk about this. That literally Trump was going up to the last fucking hour, and if he hadn't given him this stuff, it would have to go through a whole other budget cycle, and they would just pillory him from the right and the left on the floor of Congress for withholding arms from this country, basically pantsing them in front of Russia, which was the fucking point.
The reasons that he did it. He wanted to apply pressure for his own political purposes.
I still don't think it's fair to say that there was no intelligent moves to keep Russia in check during the 4 years of Donald Trump in office.
Well, no, there were some. They came from Congress, and people in the administration that he had hired who apparently he didn't listen to.
I don't think that's fair
I
at
didn't
all.
say that.
Okay.
Well, I didn't. No, that's fine because I didn't say that. My point is Trump was not fit to be president. He was not.
That is not the soft landing that Rob was expecting. Look at his. Oh my God, this is so great. Oh God. Sorry, run that by me again. Just the answer.
I still don't think it's fair to say that there was no intelligent moves to keep Russia in check during the 4 years of Donald Trump in office. I don't think that's fair
I
at all.
didn't say that.
Okay.
Well, I didn't. No, that's fine because I didn't say that. My point is Trump was not fit to be president. He was not
This is so amazing.
competent to be president.
You worked for him, though.
I did.
I mean, you wanted
Because I
to be
wanted
on
to
that
try
team.
and help protect American. That's exactly right. To help protect American national security.
One last question, and they're trying to wrap.
That's the other thing that Rob doesn't understand. Like, some of these people there was a bunch. I mean, you remember all the conversation. All you guys remember the conversation about people who were afraid to leave the administration after they saw what an asshole he was because they were afraid to leave him alone with the button.
Get the chance.
What do you do
no
in this
doubt about it.
situation? You say Biden or Trump, neither of them you could handle this. What would you do?
Well, at this moment, look, you're 20 moves into a chess game where I haven't liked the last 15 moves, but I do think we need to put a stake through the heart of the Russian energy sector. If we cut off export of oil and natural gas, it will drive
the prices up.
Revenues to zero. I think there are other things.
It will also drive prices up all over the world and therefore raise the prices in the States. And I'm sure because of America and America first and America's interests, Rob wants that to happen.
Can do to wake up the Russian population. I would impose a total visa ban on all travel by Russian citizens out of Russia to Western Europe or the United States, and more things like that, including continuing to ship weapons to.
Well, they're stopping the airplanes already. I don't care what what good your visa is going to do. I mean, I guess they could walk across borders and that kind of shit.
Ukrainians, and taking up President Zelensky's request to establish a NATO no-fly zone.
A NATO no-fly zone. Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. No, not okay. Not all right. That escalates the entire thing. Automatically makes them a de facto member of NATO and starts World War III. No. You don't have to start a fucking no-fly zone. The Russians don't have air superiority right now. The Ukrainians just went to Poland and got a bunch of donated planes from NATO and us. The column has stalled because they're strafing it with our gear.
Sir John Bolton, I knew it was going to be an interesting conversation.
Yes, interesting is the word.
Appreciate you coming on. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
Glad to do it.
Hearing all sides here on Rob Schmidt.
Oh God. It
was going to be an interesting conversation.
So great.
We do appreciate you coming on. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
Glad to do it.
Hearing all sides here on Rob Schmidt Tonight. All right, coming up, ordinary Ukrainians taking up arms to fight for their country, including
supermodels. Yes, including Miss Ukraine. It's interesting that this is the picture you show. Fucking, oh God. So good. It's just so good. It's just so good. Do I have that? Yeah, I do. Yeah, that we need Rob's face for that one though. There we go. Oh, that was it was. I mean, it was too good to pass up. I saw that floating around, and I'd heard him. The unfit line had made it around the Twitter sphere, but I intentionally did not want to watch any of it till I could watch it with you guys. And secondly, I think you're probably as happy as I am that we all watched the whole thing, that whole exchange, because a lot, when a little clip floats around Twitter, it can be blown out of proportion, or it can actually exemplify the entirety of the thing. But there's all this other stuff that just seems to get disappeared into the memory hole, and it's just such a beautiful thing, I gotta say, to just see this. Oh God. Anyways, like and subscribe, give a thumbs up. This is Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide.